Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Amanda. Thank you so much for joining me. So I'm really excited today because I'm going to be showing you a recipe to make an amazing hair growth and regrowth oil. So this oil will help your hair to grow longer, thicker and fuller, and will also help hair to grow back in bald patches. So our first ingredient is going to be these black onion seeds, which you know commonly as kalonji seeds or Nigella sativa seeds. So the black onion seeds have been shown to be really fantastic at almost everything, and that's why they often called the miracle seeds, because they can cure so many ailments. So black seeds or Nigella sativa seeds, kalonji seeds have been shown to actually increase the rate at which your hair grows, and they can also help hair to grow back in bald patches. So there are lots of black seeds out there, so you need to make sure that you've got the right black seeds, the Nigella sativa seeds, kalonji seeds, which look like tiny black rocks. And then the next ingredient is one of my favorites, rosemary. This has been shown through science, without a doubt, to be effective in helping hair to grow longer, thicker, fuller, and faster. And it's also been shown to help hair to grow back. So if you're familiar with minoxidil, rosemary has been shown to be just as effective as minoxidil. So in addition to stimulating scalp circulation, rosemary also heals the scalp and the nerve endings, and it can also help to treat dandruff and soothe an irritated scalp. The next ingredient is fenugreek, which is another favorite of mine. Fenugreek not only helps to stimulate hair growth, it also helps hair to grow back in bald patches. It also has DHT blocking properties, so it can help with people with thinning hair because of maturity, or with things like male pattern balding or even female pattern balding. And it also helps to thicken the hair. Not only does it increase the number of follicles, which there's no research to back that up, but anecdotal reports suggest that it can help increase the number of hair follicles, but it also widens the hair follicles so that the hair that's growing out is going to be wider. Therefore, your hair will ultimately look thicker, and it also helps to treat dandruff. And then we're going to need an oil, and for this recipe you need a penetrating oil, because we want this oil to be able to penetrate the scalp and go into the hair follicles, which obviously sit beneath the surface of the scalp. So I like this oil because it's got omega-3 and vitamin E, but good alternatives will be things like just plain sunflower oil or almond oil. Olive oil, although it's thick, it's actually a really good penetrating oil. I know people think that it's a sealing oil, but it's actually a penetrating oil. And avocado oil and coconut oil. If you're going to use coconut oil, then I recommend you use fractionated coconut oil, which does not solidify. And then we're also going to need a blender so that we can blend everything into a powder, and also a pot because we're going to warm everything up. So the method is really simple. We'll put 1 tablespoon of kalonji seeds into the blending jug, 1 tablespoon of the rosemary, and then 1 tablespoon of the fenugreek seeds. So I know you may be wondering if you can use fenugreek powder, and the answer will be absolutely yes. As you can see, we're going to blend this into a powder. So if all you've got is fenugreek powder, you can use that as well. I will just mention that when I'm making oils, I do prefer to use the seeds and blend them into a powder myself, because I just find that the oil is more potent that way. But if all you can find is fenugreek powder, just use that. Don't be put off. It'll still work. And here's my powder. You can see it's not that fine, but it'll work. And I like to blend this into a powder because it makes the infusion much better, much more effective. So you put the powder into a heat-resistant jar, and then pour enough oil to completely submerge the herbs. So I put in about half a cup. Obviously, the more oil you put in, the more dilute your oil will be, and the less oil you put in, the more potent your oil will be. But half a cup is going to be okay. So if you don't like using heat when you're making your oils, at this stage you could just put the jar away into a dark cupboard for about 4 to 6 weeks, or even 8 weeks, and allow it to infuse that way. But I prefer to warm the oil up at the start, because that again helps the herbs to absorb the oil and makes the infusion much more effective. So I'm just putting a pot of hot water over the stove, and I'm going to keep the heat on low to medium, and then I'm going to put that jar, make sure that it's tightly closed, and then put the jar into the pot and then simmer over low to medium heat for about 10 minutes. You don't need to, go overboard and warm this up for about 20-30 minutes, because the infusion is going to happen over a longer period. And then after 10 minutes, I just take the pot off as it is, switch the stove off, and then allow this to cool down. Remember, that is going to be really hot, so we just allow it to cool down. And because the water is still hot, that's why we don't need to simmer it for longer. And then once it's cooled down completely, we just take the jar and put that into a dark cupboard. We're going to infuse for a minimum of 2 weeks. And over that period, we're just going to be shaking it up now and again, because the herbs will settle at the bottom of the jar. So you do want to mix them up. So I allowed mine to infuse for about 3 weeks before I started using it, and as you can see, the oil had taken on the colors of the herbs, and there was still particles suspended in the oil. So what I've been doing, instead of straining everything at once, I only decant a little bit and strain as much as I need to apply to my scalp when I want to do a scalp massage. So I only take out a small amount and then leave the rest in the oil, in the jar, sorry, so that it continues to infuse. And as I said before, the longer you infuse it for, the more powerful it will be. So I don't add more oil, I don't top it up, because then you're just going to be diluting it. So I just take out as much as I need, close the jar, and then put it back in the cupboard. And then when I need more oil, I just repeat the process of straining. So as you can see, I double strained because, you know, there are lots of particles in there, tiny particles, and I just want a nice clean oil. And this is what it looks like. It's nice, beautiful, this wonderful green color. And if you're wondering what it smells like, it mostly smells like rosemary. You can hardly smell the fenugreek, and I know some people will be delighted to hear that because they don't like the smell of fenugreek. So as I said, I don't strain everything. Once I've taken out the amount I need, I just put it back in the cupboard. So I'm going to show you how I use this oil. So this is really a scalp oil, so you're focusing it on your scalp. It's not really for the hair, because we want all those ingredients to really penetrate the scalp into the hair follicles. So applying it to your hair is not really going to do that much in terms of stimulating growth, and also if you want your hair to grow back if you've got bald patches. So I'm just taking a small amount. So this is about a tablespoon. I don't use a huge amount of oil on my scalp. I don't drown my scalp with oil. Take a small amount. Sometimes less is more. And obviously, if you just drown your scalp with the oil, then it's going to clog your pores. And I think that's why a lot of people get put off if they're using oils, because then it just seems like it's going to run down their faces, it's going to run down their necks, and all sorts of issues. So I just use a tiny amount and apply that directly onto the scalp, and then make sure that all of my scalp is completely covered, and then I just do a nice little massage. So I'm not going to do like my regular scalp massage for hair growth. That's a different type of scalp massage. And if you want to know how I do scalp massages for hair growth, I've put a link to a video in which I showed you how I do that. It's in the description box, and I highly recommend you watch that video, because it will give you some hints and tips on which areas to focus on if you want to stimulate hair growth. So I find the smell of rosemary so beautiful and so relaxing. So I'm just going to take my time and just indulge in a little self-care and a little mindfulness, and just enjoy the process. So I know some of you may be wondering how quickly you'll see results. As with anything to do with hair growth, and particularly hair regrowth, you will need to give yourself time, give your scalp time to get used to this product, so that we're using this oil, and give the oil time to work. So I would say you'll probably see results within a month. If you're trying to regrow bald patches, then it may take a bit longer, maybe 6 weeks or 8 weeks before you start to see solid results. But don't give up. You just need to use it consistently, and you will see results. How often to use this? I would say 2 to 3 times a week. 3 times really should be the maximum, unless you're trying to regrow your hair. And I will talk more about that and the reasons why 2 to 3 times is more than enough. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it and found it useful. And I really hope you give this oil a go because it is so, so, so good. And I guarantee if you use it consistently, you're going to get results. So I would love to know your feedback once you've made it, once you've tried it. And I'm sure other people would love to hear your feedback as well. So if you've got any questions at all about the ingredients we used or any other question or something you'd like me to look into, to do some research on or address, or just share on this channel, don't hesitate to let me know. You can either leave your questions, etc., in the comment section below, or if you're a bit shy, you can contact me through my Instagram or Facebook pages, and I've left links in the description box below so you can contact me. So I will see you in my next video, but before I go, thank you so much to everybody who subscribed so far. You're really helping this channel to grow, and I love and appreciate you so much. If you've not yet subscribed, then please subscribe, and also please give the video a thumbs up, and also share the videos with your friends and family through social media and WhatsApp, because all of those things will help my channel to grow and grow this nice little community we establishing. So until next time, my lovelies, you take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and God bless. Bye for now.